Hi everybody, it's me, Beth Maitland with Drama Queen Bee Quilts, and I'm here with a little bit of a project and a chat, but mostly the project today because I'm just sort of winding down, working from this project into the next one. So I want to put the bits away so I can move on, and so I wanted to show you a little bit about it today. Sorry, sitting down at my squeaky chair. Okay, so this is a lovely little slow-stitched collage that I started on the sewing machine and then hand stitched a bunch of things onto and then attached to a little linen pillow and made a little linen cushion. And I did the sewing of the cushion on the sewing machine and left a turning spot down here, hand stitched it shut, and then hand stitched all the way around the outside and hand stitched a bunch of other little things onto it. This is fabric rope that I made with scraps from these fabrics, and there's a tutorial on my YouTube channel about how to make this fabric rope. And this is a stamped element onto a blank reel that I purchased from Amazon of cotton twill tape. The other ones that I'm stamping are things like wonder and joy and comfort and things like that. And I'm making a series of little projects like this. This one has some cute, I used red thread, variegated red thread around the outside running stitch, and a little bit different color of rope, and a little bow that was just a torn strip of fabric, and another little Suffolk puff. And a bunch of vintage buttons, added on another little bow out of a scrap of fabric. So as you can see, I had a lot of fun layering lace and motifs, and I will show you a little bit more about the foundation in just a moment. How's everybody doing? Are you winding up? Are you getting ready for the holidays? It's a few weeks till Thanksgiving, and then the fun for Christmas begins. I'm experiencing kind of a little bit of a different year this year because my daughter has a serious partner this year, and they are switching off what days they normally will celebrate. So I get them on Thanksgiving, and his family gets them on the day after, and then I get them on Christmas Eve. So it'll be a little bit different year this year. So anyway, as you propel yourself into the holidays, these gifts, these little cushions are for some lovely neighbors and a friend of mine, a lady friend of mine in my neighborhood. So I wanted to make them something, but I wanted it to be decorative, but slow stitched fabric books are not their thing, etc. So what I did was I took a piece of canvas and I tore it into a square. And this canvas is washed. It's literally duck. It's just, I got it as a remnant under a yard in the remnant bin for like $4. And I have this whole huge yard of it, or almost yard of it. So I've been tearing it up into bases for projects that don't require, that either are layered and covered. I like to see the base through my collaging and embroidery. So often I will use linen or something a little bit more dear, a little bit more pretty, and that has some substance as part of the design. But in this case, I'm covering everything. So I started with a square that I tore of canvas duck. Then I took a scrap of batting and I put it on the back, and it doesn't matter which side, but I did that for a little structure and for a little texture. And then over the top, I'll show you some of the partway through ones. I had a bunch of scraps I found in a pile down in my studio while I was cleaning up to get ready for the holidays. And I had coffee dyed a bunch of stuff. This is just gauze. This is just the stuff that you make ghosts out of at cheesecloth at Halloween, and that you drain things through when you're cooking, or put pouches of herbs and lemon inside things in stews and things like that. This is just literally cheap cheesecloth, but I had coffee dyed it. In addition, I had a little bit heavier gauze that I dyed. I had some canvas, and I had some other little bits and scraps of net and lace and things like that. So some of these things were coffee dyed and then left to dry rough so that they would have these cool chocolatey edges. And so I took them on my base at the sewing machine. I loaded up some brown thread just for some texture, color, a pop. And I just started scrunching them and kind of sewing them down with a very small zigzag stitch. Here's another version of that with the same elements, but just a little bit different design. Oh, you know what this is? I think this is a diaper. I think this is an old cloth diaper. It's got a little print in the weave, a little print. So anyway, I think that's an old cotton diaper that I coffee dyed. Anyway, and a little bit of the edge of this. And here's some more of the edge. Anyway, just randomly tacked it all down. Here's another example. A little bit more of the canvas. And this is heavy. It's not as heavy as the duck, but maybe this is super muslin. There's a product in America that they have just come out with that I've never seen before until recently called super muslin, which is, I think, starched. It's a little stiffer and heavier weave, and it's starched muslin. So that might be what that is. And here's another version. So as you can see, here's the back. It's just tacked down with a little bit of a sewing machine stitch, and that was to save me some time, so I'd have plenty of time for the fabric collage. So then I take one and I start adding pieces. Because there's texture and color already established, I may find a little piece of something and let's get some scissors, snip a little piece, tear it, and as Rachel and Sarah Roxborough say, slap it down. Those girls are so sweet. And then I've got actually some really tiny bits that might work. That piece down, and let's see. Here's a little something, and let's just take another snip off of that. And I might create some kind of an arrangement, put pins in that, and then do a running stitch around everything so that it is all tacked down, very similar to this and this. So then I would do my running stitch all the way around, and I'd start layering other elements. Now, in the evenings, sometimes I do a little embroidery if I don't want to think about stuff. I might have some little sweet Christmas tree embroidery like that and put that on top. And then I've got some Suffolk puffs that I might scatter around in coordinating. Let's see, let's switch that one and put that one there up top. And now look how that is already, just in a really short amount of time, evolving into a beautiful little collage. And then I have one more of these. Again, I want to add, this is not going to be permanent. I'm not going to sew this down because I want to add wonder is my next word that I want to add, but I might put that down here and snip off the sides a little bit, and then put that will fit underneath then, and then I'll put my Suffolk puff back on the top there. And look at that beautiful element. Bit by bit, this is just really taking shape into something really pleasing. So I will running stitch all of this down. I will sew down the edges with I just tack it all down with a whip stitch around the outer edges. And that will be a new fabric collage, which I will then layer onto some kind of a base. And it might be another one of these pillows. It might be that I would sew this on, I might use some red and white ticking. It's not linen, it's a cotton, heavier weight cotton. It's not quite canvas. So I have some red and white stripe ticking that I might do instead with this new little thing on top. But that is how we make this project. And I hope that gives you an idea or two of something that you can make quickly in the course of an evening or two. That is a beautiful and handmade, homemade, beloved stitches kind of gift. So I hope that gives you a little idea or two. And that's our project for the day. I guess there wasn't a lot of chat. There was mostly just chatting about the project. But I hope you're all well. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you have lots to keep you busy as we wind into the holiday season. Sending much love from Beth Maitland at Drama Queen Bee Quilts.